You'll never believe me when I say this. We were part of that natural disaster, Hurricane Sandy, that happened in New York in 2012. I lost everything in Hurricane Sandy. Everything we built, my home, my city, even my 7-year-old son, until God sent a miracle I never saw coming. Before listening to my story, write Amen in the comments, because what I'm about to share isn't just a story, it's proof that when everything drowns, God still holds us above the water. My name is Rachel. I'm just a normal woman, a wife, a mother, and a daughter-in-law. We were not rich, not poor, just an ordinary middle-class family living in New York City. My husband works as a manager in a bank. Disciplined, calm, always serious about his work. I'm an audit manager in a private firm, always running between files, deadlines, and reports. My father-in-law is retired from government service, and my mother-in-law takes care of the house. And then there's my son, Ethan. He's 7 years old, just started 2nd grade, a little mischievous, always smiling, always full of questions about everything in the world. For me, he's not just my child, he's my heartbeat. Our life was peaceful, simple, and full of gratitude. Every morning was routine. My husband left early for work, my mother-in-law prepared breakfast for everyone, and I would pack Ethan's lunch and drop him at school before going to the office. That day started the same way. I was in the kitchen making sandwiches when Ethan came to me holding his stomach and said, "Mom, I don't want to go to school today. My stomach hurts." At first, I thought he was pretending. You know how kids are when they don't want to study. But when I saw tears in his eyes, I stopped arguing. I said, "Okay, baby, stay home today, but at least eat your breakfast." He smiled weakly and nodded. I kissed his forehead and thought maybe this was a small blessing. I'd get to spend some time with him. Just as I was about to leave for work, my phone rang. It was my boss. "Rachel, you don't have to come in today. The client meeting's canceled. Take a rest." I was confused, that never happened before. But honestly, I was happy. A day off. No reports, no stress. I made myself coffee, sat beside my son, and thought maybe God just gave me this day to breathe. But that happiness didn't last. A few hours later, around noon, I felt something strange, like the ground was moving under my feet. At first, I thought it was my imagination, but then the glass of water on the table started shaking. My father-in-law turned on the TV, and what we saw froze us. The headline read, "Hurricane Sandy hits New York City, severe flooding, high winds, stay indoors." Within minutes, everything started changing. The wind grew louder, the rain started hitting our windows like stones. We could see trees bending, cars being pushed by water. It was chaos outside. We closed all the windows and prayed it would pass soon, but it didn't. The power went out, the lights flickered and died, our phones lost network. Hours passed and the water level started rising. It entered our compound, then slowly reached the steps of our front door. My mother-in-law screamed. My father-in-law grabbed our emergency kit, flashlights, dry food, first aid, but none of us really knew what to do. When the water reached our knees, panic took over. I grabbed my son, lifted him in my arms, and tried to stay calm. He was crying, "Mommy, I'm scared." And I kept whispering, "Don't worry, baby, God is with us." But inside, I was breaking. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. Our main door gave way. The water burst in with force, flooding everything. Furniture was floating, the refrigerator fell over, the current was dragging everything with it. My mother-in-law slipped, my father-in-law shouted for help. We somehow got to the staircase, trying to climb to the first floor, but the water kept rising. My husband wasn't home, he was stuck at the bank, miles away. And then it happened, the moment I'll never forget. I looked down and saw my son's head fall back in my arms. He had fainted. I screamed his name again and again. "Ethan, baby, open your eyes, please." There was no response. His little body was cold and pale. That moment, that single second, it felt like my soul left my body. The world went silent. I couldn't even hear the storm anymore. I fell to my knees in the water, holding him tight, screaming, crying, praying, begging, God, please, please don't take my son. Take everything, take the house, take the money, take my life, but not him. I don't remember how long I prayed. Maybe an hour, maybe more. Time didn't exist anymore. We were trapped in darkness, no light, no signal, no hope. And then it happened. After nearly 3 hours, I heard a faint sound, a siren. It was distant at first, like an echo, but it kept getting louder. An ambulance, rescue workers. They had arrived. I started shouting, waving my hands, crying, "Here, please, here." They broke through the broken window, reached inside, and pulled us out. They took my unconscious son first. I remember running barefoot behind the stretcher, screaming his name. The rescuers tried to calm me down, saying, "Ma'am, we'll save him, stay strong." We reached the ambulance, and I watched as they gave him oxygen, checked his pulse, and said, "He's still breathing. We got him in time." In that moment, I dropped to the ground, crying uncontrollably. My husband called later from the office. He was safe. He had no idea what had happened to us until then. We all reached the hospital. My son was in the ICU for 2 days, but the doctors said something I'll never forget. If he had been brought even 15 minutes later, he wouldn't have survived. 15 minutes. That's all that stood between life and death. And I realized God sent that ambulance. God made my boss call me and tell me to stay home. God made my son say, "Mom, I don't want to go to school today." He knew what was coming before I did. We lost our house that day. Everything we built gone, but we were alive. And when I saw my son open his eyes in the hospital bed, weak but breathing, I knew I'd just witnessed a miracle. People say disasters destroy lives, but for me, that storm rebuilt my faith. Because God doesn't always calm the storm. Sometimes, He lets the storm come to remind us who controls it. We rebuilt our home slowly. Life is different now, simpler, humbler. Every time I hear the rain, I don't feel fear anymore. I feel gratitude, because it reminds me of the day God showed me that even in destruction, He saves. So if you're listening to me right now, and you feel like your world is breaking apart, remember this: God never leaves. Even when everything around you is sinking, He will always find a way to pull you out. I lost everything that day, but I found God.